I don't think you guys can hear the stream, but it's really pretty. Fear is such an interesting thing. It can lie to us and make us believe, like really truly believe, certain things are true when they are not true at all. Fear can be a protector born from needs not being met or really serving its true purpose in situations that could actually be harmful to us, right? So there's definitely a time and place for fear, but what I've come to realize mainly about myself is if we're not careful, it's so easy to become trapped in a constant state of fear and let fear drive our decisions in life. And yeah, let fear be that sort of protector that prevents us from actually doing the things that we're called to do by God, the things that we want to do, that we have passions for. Just, yeah, the things in life that scare us, right? Make us fearful, but are actually really good for us, good for our growth, maybe good for other people. I am not afraid to admit that I'm afraid a lot of the times. And I just find this interesting because people, as a free spirit, people have told me that I'm so brave for doing some of the things that I've done. But I think it's important to remember that everybody's different, and what might scare me is totally different than what might scare you. So, for example, the number one thing that people tell me is that I'm so brave to do solo travel. And for me, that's never really been that scary. Like I'll admit I get nervous, excited before a trip or an adventure, whether that be a road trip or moving to a foreign country. Like, of course, I have some nerves because it is risky in a lot of ways, but it doesn't really scare me the same way that initially sharing my faith, sharing my beliefs online through my blog and even through this YouTube scares me. Like, putting myself out there on the internet is so much scarier than going to a foreign country by myself. Do you guys see that butterfly? Ah! Such a God moment, God wink moment. So yeah, that might surprise you that I honestly am sweating bullets anytime I get in front of the camera. And even though I only have like 30 subscribers, I still get so nervous because I have fear there. Fear of what people will think, fear that I won't communicate the message in the right way and it will offend people. Again, all of these fears are rooted in people-pleasing tendencies, which I am recovering from, working on, kind of thought I had grown out of, to be honest, but starting this YouTube channel has actually brought a lot of that up again, and I've had to work through that. So what I'm getting at here are two things that I have really learned when it comes to fear, or maybe three. I don't know. I'll figure out the number. But the first one is don't compare yourself to other people. Don't compare your fears, your successes, your weaknesses, strengths to anybody else because everyone is different. What might be really easy for me may seem really hard to you, but vice versa. You might have no problem talking to strangers online or public speaking or, yeah, doing any of the things that scare me. So it's important to remember we're all unique. And oh my God. Another thing. Another one of my fears is bees and things flying at me unannounced. I actually hate that. What a perfect timing. Okay, refocusing here. So yeah, don't compare yourself and don't feel like you're less than if you can't get over some sort of fear that you see somebody else not even dealing with or dealing with easier or whatever it is. The second important thing to know about fear is we really get to decide if we are going to act in spite of the fear. I'm pretty sure that's some famous quote or some cliche, right? That bravery is acting even though you're afraid. And it's true though, right? Like being afraid and doing it anyway doesn't usually mean the fear actually goes away while we're doing the thing that scares us. I think in our human brains, the fear is stemming from what we're afraid of happening, like what the outcome is, at least for me. And so I know that when I'm in the act of doing something that scares me, and then the moment passes or I'm on to the next step and the bad thing that I was very convinced that was going to happen doesn't happen, it gives me more confidence. And it enables me to keep moving forward and to trust myself and to trust God more in the process. Honestly, most of the admirable things I've done in my life, I have done absolutely terrified and in moments 100% convinced that the entire world was going to end if I did that thing. But I did it anyway. I didn't let the fear hold me back. Or rather, there were times that I did, but I kept trying to overcome the fear. And so here I am still making these videos, even though I am literally so sweaty and nervous right now. I think that's an important note as well, is sometimes the fear just doesn't actually go away ever. And you just keep doing it. And you just keep getting through it every time you have to do or choose to do the thing that scares you. On the other hand, I sort of feel like fear can be like a muscle in certain situations. The more you do it, the less scary it is. And the stronger you become, like the more trust you build with yourself, knowing that things are going to be okay. And the third thing is the whole faith over fear mindset. So I make it a regular practice to give my fears and my worries to God and remind myself of who God is and the promises He's given me and the words He's spoken over my life and who He has told me I am. Because again, fear's a liar. Fear will want to tell us that we're too much or we're not good enough or we should give up or we're never going to be successful. We're always going to keep looping in the same circles. Nobody likes us. All of these things. And fear can be a form of spiritual warfare too. It can be meant to keep us paralyzed, stuck, going in circles. And when we choose to, number one, sit with the fear, I guess this could kind of be a fourth point intermingled, but sitting with the fear, identifying it within our bodies and detaching from it. So saying, instead of I'm afraid, say this part of me feels afraid. This younger self feels afraid. This version of me who was rejected last year was afraid, whatever it is, whoever it is. So when we choose to sit in this place with ourselves, detach from the emotion, see it as a younger version of us, and meet it with love and compassion and understanding and not try to force it out or try to force it to leave or numb it, distract it, run away from it, and don't let it run the show, right? Don't let it make the decisions for us. The logical mind starts trying to figure out how to control the outcome or how to get out of the situation or any of that. When we just sit there and let ourselves feel this feeling without judgment, without trying to change it, and with love, it actually will come out of the body in some way, in a somatic way. And we can choose in that place to give it to the Lord, and God will do the rest. God will remind us, like I said, of all the truths of who we are and who He is and the work He's doing in our lives, and that everything is literally going to be okay, especially if He's calling us to do the thing that scares us. And then from that place of groundedness and being reminded of the truth of who we are, then we can let go of the fear, choose to give it to God, like I said before. And that's where faith will spring up, overwhelm the fear with love, and we can choose to walk in faith, even if fear is still present. But fear is not running the show. And that is honestly how I have managed to do the big, scary things that God has guided me towards over the years. God called me to start my own business, to mentor teen girls, to start my blog and share my faith, which has now transitioned into YouTube, sharing my faith and my personal story about being in an abusive relationship, like really deep and vulnerable things. And I've been able to do all of that because of these processes we've talked about today. Because I have chosen to give it to God, I have chosen to act in spite of the fear, allow myself to feel the fear I'm feeling and not run away from it, but also not let it take control, give it to God, and be filled with faith and trust that it's going to be okay, that I am capable, like believing in my own capabilities, trusting that God's working everything out, trusting in his provision, trusting that things are going to be okay, and believing that like I'm growing from this, that things are happening for my highest good, and that it's not also just about me, that me deciding to step out in faith, step out despite being afraid, that will impact other people and will make the world a better place in some way. So I think the biggest takeaway from all of this is we can choose to lay down the fear protector because Jesus is with us and Jesus is the ultimate protector. We can choose to not believe the lies of the enemy of spiritual warfare that come in the form of fear. And yeah, I just hope that this encourages you and gives you a fresh perspective on fear, that it's actually not something to be feared. You don't need to fear fear. It can be a tool used for development for your highest good. It can give you a lot of insight to who you are. And when you choose to act and trust in spite of the fear, so many amazing things can happen to you and to others through you. So thanks for tuning in yet again. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button to join my beautiful little soul family. Stay faithful, friends, and I will see you next time.